It's incredible to live in a place where they really feel the memorial. It isn't a beach day. It isn't about barbecues. It's about remembering every single one of those that were killed for the sake of this great land. Have them in mind, honor them. God bless you all from Israel. The Israeli Air Force in the sky. I don't know if you can see them, I can. Heading over in that direction. But when you hear the roar and the rumble of those jet engines coming over, and you realize where we are compared to where we were. Not just technologically speaking. Even though that jet, which I hope you can see, is absolutely awe-inspiringly magnificent. And impossible that 75 years after the ovens of Auschwitz, Jews are actually owning the skies of the earth. You can't make this up. In the wildest of fairy tales. Yet all of this was prophesied thousands of years ago. And those words scare many people. But when you simply read what was written so many thousands of years ago, then you start to realize where we are and what has occurred and what is happening. And you realize that we are actually in an amazing time of light and redemption. Even with nearly 24,000 of our warriors murdered since the 1860s based on recent count. And I hate counting Israel. Every time one of our leaders count our people, calamity befalls us because we're not individual numbers. We are one. We are just this incredible whole. So as the impossible flies over my head, which is just mind-boggling, it's absolutely wild to think that not only did we crawl out of those ashes with nothing in Europe, and not only did we come to this land, upwards of 1 million Jews from the Middle East, with nothing but hope. Nothing but Torah. Nothing but Shabbat that kept us together. And then they came and they built the impossible. It's like our own version of walking into the sea. And when I say our, who the heck am I? Who are you? We're standing on the shoulders of human giants. And the blood of those giants have soaked this earth day in and day out, generation after generation. The same sons and daughters that are growing up in these houses right here are the same sons and daughters that either are or will be wearing the uniform that says Tzahal over their heart, Israel Defense Forces. Some of them might be flying some of the most advanced aircraft and technology that this planet has ever seen, while some of their sisters and daughters who live across the street might be repairing attack helicopters. That is the Jew of what we call 2020. That's the Jew that we are. Where no matter what you find yourself doing religiously or even politically, you can unify under the roof of Israel. You can see all of the different soldiers wearing that same olive green uniform. And no matter whether they are light-skinned, dark-skinned from America, Israel, Ethiopia, Russia, Brazil, China, India, or anywhere else in between, they're all the same. It is a unifying factor. We were never built or supposed to become robots. We were never supposed to simply walk like this and not struggle and fight for truth in order to gain this unity. But we have to do it together. We have to at least find one common ground, and that has to be Israel. And that can be the IDF. And that can be supporting our soldiers that we love. And that can be standing up and respecting the soldiers that have given everything. And by soldiers, it's not only soldiers, it's police officers, it's intelligence officers, it's those in the medical corps, it's everybody, every single person, every pilot, every driver, every person filing at a cabinet somewhere. If they're wearing that uniform of Israel, they are a part of something so magnificent that it hasn't been seen in this world since the time that King David ruled over this hill. Guess what? King David's back. His army is not only back again, it is the most magnificent army this world has ever seen, both morally, ethically, and with the ability to turn themselves into lions that are willing to always attack into the enemy. Because if we do not, the enemy is already within our homes. This isn't a foreign land that we're protecting for a foreign population. This is our land. This was our land. And this will be our land that we will give to our children as an eternal inheritance. And those that despise hearing that are the same that are still trying to kill people like us, people that are in uniform, people that are simply walking around as Jews no matter where you find yourself in the world. The same evil that represents the PLO and Hamas and Islamic Jihad and All the other alphabet soup of terrorism that exists in the world is the same evil that exists down the street from where you live. So we don't just honor an individual soldier. We don't just honor somebody we know. We honor and we memorialize and we respect every single one. Because they are all our sons and daughters. And you have to start seeing it that way. You have to start internalizing it that way, or you aren't unified yet. You're missing the opportunity and you're missing the boat. God bless you all from Israel. Just want you to see this is what it looks like to say, this is Zionism in action, actually. This isn't just waving a flag. These houses, they said, you know what? We're not going to wait for somebody to give us permission to build in the land of Israel. This is our land. If we don't build here, the Arabs will take it, and they have. The Arabs have taken every single plot of land you see around us. Everything. Everything around me. Some of it farmed by actual terrorists who were released in the Gilad Shalit release deal. It's wild. So these, just like Jews all over Judea and Samaria who are vilified for simply wanting to actually reclaim what has been ours since the beginning, including contractually, including written, including actual delineated boundaries in the largest circulated book in history, the Bible. These Jews, they pushed out and they said, we're going to build our own houses out here, and they did. So what would have been more and more Arab stolen fields are now Jewish families growing in the hills of Judah, which is beautiful. And these children will go to the army one day and protect this land. And for everybody out there that says, gosh, it's too bad we need an army, I say, you're not thinking right. I say, Baruch Hashem, thank God we have an army. I say, thank God we have something that a 12, 13-year-old boy or girl in the USA can look up to and see strength in what it means to be a Jew. Because that's what brought me to where I am today. So thank God we have an army. Thank God we have the Israeli security services. God bless all the memories and all the souls of all of our warriors. They deserve our respect. They deserve more than a day. They deserve a place in your heart. They deserve a place in your family's home. They deserve to be mentioned. You need to look at their pictures. And you need to find somebody that you connect with. And you need to start shedding tears. It's important to release emotion for what has been the greatest injustice on any nation perpetrated over a 2,000-year period of history. And you are a direct part of it. But now, we don't have to continue along that line of decline, of being the whipping post of the world. No, sorry. Now we have tens of thousands of our boys and girls learning in yeshivot. Now our children are dancing in these hills speaking Hebrew. And now I've got some of the most badass jet fighters and pilots in the world cruising over my head. And to think what it must look like staring down on these gorgeous hills from that elevation with that power at the tips of your hands, knowing that your mother, your wife, your children, your family sleep at night because you got the skies covered. What a magnificent feeling to live in this land. To know that pilot up there understands who I am, understands my beliefs, understands our history, understands the need for our future, and understands why they went through some of the most rigorous training on the planet, why they've been selected since their early ages to become some of the greatest combat pilots in the world. It isn't just to fly cool aircraft. It's to prevent another Holocaust. It is to prevent the genocide of the Jewish people globally. You have to get it already. These aren't hollow words. This isn't just emotion. This is your entire history wrapped up. All you got to do is look at it, study it, and understand how not to fall in the same trap of allowing Amalek, allowing our eternal enemy into our camp. We have to stop doubting. Doubt of godliness, doubt of our path, doubt of each other. We have to stop that we have to cut that head off. And once we eliminate doubt from our camp, once we realize that we are a nation that has seen everything, witnessed every high and low possible, have seen the impossible, have walked through the sea, have literally come out of the ashes of one of the most recent disasters that the globe has ever seen, the Holocaust to a nation, and then risen to the greatest of heights, back in our homeland, not in Uganda, like they wanted to give us, not in New York, not in London, but here. Once you really internalize that that's the impossible and it's happening before your eyes, then it's awe-inspiring. God bless you all from Israel. God bless our warriors. God bless their families. And it's a magnificent day because tonight we go from sadness, which is very typical within the Jewish nation, even within our holidays, our annual holidays that are on a cycle, that rotation. We go from absolute depth, min hametzer, from the depths, says King David, and we're going to go to the greatest heights, reclaiming and reconquering this land that our people have been praying for thousands upon thousands of years. I only wish that I was able to be here in 1948 or in 1967 to truly be a part of reclaiming this land. But guess what? I wasn't and I couldn't, so I'm doing second best, and I'm asking you to do the same. Wherever you are in the world, do the best you can to represent Israel. Of course, there are other causes. Of course, there are local causes. Of course, locally, people need your help. But do the best you can to represent Israel. Help me overturn the sin of the spies. That will lead to less calamity here and elsewhere. These aren't my words. These are the words that have been written for thousands of years. I'm simply regurgitating them out here in the hills of Judea. God bless you all from beautiful Israel. And God bless and elevate the souls of all of our warriors, and God avenge their blood.